Can we fix it?
That's what I was going to do first. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And copyright stricken. I would keep its budget the same and demand twice as many episodes.
And just because you're not liking it because it's too woke or it's incorporating DEI, maybe revisit that.
Hell yeah.
I want 3 times the episode.
It's upping.
Give 94 episodes per season.
Don't change the budget.
Yeah.
Star Trek. Does it need to be fixed? And if so, can we fix it? This is Eat Sleep Nerd, a show where you can check out, go AFK, and relax with us as we discuss all things nerd. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at New Trek, as it's become to be known, and seeing if there's something wrong with it, and if so, maybe we have some ideas on how to fix it for the future generations. So, I'm Corey Winter, and joining me here we have the red shirts.
Will we make it through the episode?
We have Jason Summer.
Engage.
We have Cynthia Winter.
Some would say we're fixing Trek for the next generation.
We have Josh Winter.
Hit it.
And we have Christian James. Can we fix it?
That's what I was going to do first. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And copyright stricken.
So yeah, the red shirts are not relevant. We just got through with an event, so we're all wearing our polo shirts that are all matchy-matchy, so ignore those. Let's get into the Star Trek of this all. So, it's no secret here on our channel, Eat Sleep Nerd, here on YouTube, that there is some discourse amongst the Star Trek community about the quality of Star Trek and the current generation of shows. So, in the past, I guess, 10-ish years at this point, since we've gotten Discovery and Picard, Strange New Worlds, all the animated shows like Lower Decks, stretching into the newest show, Star Trek Academy, there's been some criticisms about the quality of the writing and all of that stuff. So, first question for you guys. Do we think there is something broken about Star Trek?
Yes.
Whoa. Fast.
What about you guys?
I mean, general online discourse would say yes.
It's a long last name.
But what do you think?
Yeah.
General online discourse?
I
Or do you want to keep your thoughts private?
No. Private thoughts, but you don't salute a private. So, yes and no. I have felt like, by and large, New Trek is fine.
Mm-hmm.
That said, and I'll stand on that, I gave Star Trek Academy's premiere a very good review. A lot of y'all didn't agree, but anyway, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it. That said, I do understand where people come from when they compare it to old Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are two very different beasts. And New Trek, and I've been thinking on this, because Corey's been talking about doing this episode for a little while now. And I do think I've narrowed down where I think the tonal shift has affected people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think New Trek gets a lot of blame cast on areas that aren't really the problem. And it's hard to talk about this without getting political, but like the DEI stuff gets brought up a lot, and a
lot of people call it
woke. The inclusion and the wokeness and everything. And don't get me wrong, it is. Star Trek has always been those things. It's just our definition of what that counts as has changed. But I would argue that's not actually the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't like those things, I don't think that's actually the problem. I think the biggest thing it's suffering from right now is the and this is, I hate using this term, but I think it nails the point. The MCUification of Star Trek. And this has happened to a lot of things, just period, where everything needs to be connected and overly interwoven and some of that. Don't get me wrong. One of the coolest things about Star Trek is that it has always existed in one big universe. Mm-hmm. With one exception being some movies, but even then they're in the same universe, they're just on a different timeline, which still connects to the old timeline. So technically it's all congruent.
And those movies are fine.
And there's a lot of people who weren't super stoked about those. Those movies got me into Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I appreciate them for what they are, which is the popcorn version of Star Trek. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're awesome and they hold up. They're great. But I think the MCUification goes beyond just the interconnectedness of it and gets into the shininess of it. And on the one hand, I understand wanting to make things more cinematic. That's just where we are is in this golden age of television. But a lot of what made old Trek so great was that they couldn't afford to do that. And Jason has brought this up many times, that when you can't afford tremendous special effects, tremendous sets, tremendous everything else, you have one thing that you can fall back on, and that is excellent writing.
And to an extent, or I guess to
as an extension, yes.
Acting.
Excellent acting. Yep. That's correct. And so I think that's where you can start seeing the differentiation between New Trek that has worked more or less and New Trek that hasn't. Strange New Worlds, out of all of the New Treks, I think has had some of the best writing. Doesn't mean there hasn't been a few weird episodes, and it doesn't mean that some of the seasons haven't been better than others. But by and large, people were happiest with New Trek that first season of Strange New Worlds, where we kind of went back to the old formula. Every episode was more or less self-contained, told a whole story, and really focused on characters and growth and having an ethical, moral dilemma. That is where Star Trek has always shined. All right? To compare it to New Trek that I think didn't work as well, Discovery. There were things about Discovery that I absolutely loved. Jason Isaacs, to this day, is actually one of my favorite Star Trek captains. Very different, but I friggin' love Jason Isaacs. The moral dilemma, the moral quandaries, the isolated episodes where you get to see people under different circumstances week to week to week. That didn't happen as much. And same thing with Picard. I adore Patrick Stewart, and Captain Picard is one of, in my opinion, the greatest characters of all time. The move to Picard didn't work until they brought back the entire original cast. And even then, they were mostly riding on nostalgia. Like, I can call it the way it was. Like, that's what it was. So I don't think New Trek is inherently broken. I think the parts that have always worked continue to work, but a lot of people are off-put by the new formatting and the new veneer. So if you were going to fix it, I would fix it by slash...
Hold on now, you're getting ahead of us.
Oh, okay.
You were just going to do the whole episode by yourself.
I was.
All right.
Well, he's saying all the right things.
That's all, folks. Bye. No. So to answer the original question, I do think Star Trek is broken, but not because of any individual show or any individual writing. I think you tied it into the MCU's problem, where I don't think any individual movie in the MCU was a problem. It was, they were trying to make
other than the Eternals.
Okay.
Ooh.
I love the Eternals.
All right. Okay.
That's an island you're alone on.
All right.
I'll be there.
Okay. And it's not even so much
Also,
that.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Sorry, go ahead.
It's that when you have a connected universe like Star Trek, where everything is connected, so you have, Strange New Worlds, it's a prequel to a lot of what happened in previous shows.
Yep.
It's kind of getting bottlenecked in, like, that there's an end point. And that canonically it has to all tie into everything that's happened before it. I think that kind of has become a problem in a lot of ways because, for Star Trek fans, with all these new shows coming out, Lower Decks and Academy and Strange New Worlds, they feel like they have to go watch it to be a fan of Star Trek. But we've talked about this in the Star Trek Discourse episode, where each one of these Star Trek properties or shows or movies, it's for a different audience. Like Academy is for a much different audience than maybe Strange New Worlds was or Lower Decks was. Lower Decks is for the adult that likes the comedy kind of thrown in with some of the crassness, maybe. Academy is not that. It's much more for the young audience category of adults. And Strange New Worlds is maybe for the more seasoned Star Trek fans. And so for people that are Star Trek fans, they think they're obligated to go watch all these things, but then they watch something that's not for them. and they get turned off by it, and they think just as a whole Star Trek is broken. But that's not what Star Trek is right now. It's become this whole big intellectual property that is trying to cater to so many different people. That's what happened with the MCU, where there's so many movies at this point, but not every movie is for everybody. But because of how that all ties together, people think they have to go watch it to understand what's happening next in the movie that they actually do care about. And then they hate one experience, like Ant-Man in the Quantumanium. And that turns them off to future movies in the MCU that maybe they would like. But they don't want to give them a chance because they hated Ant-Man so much.
Sure.
So it's I think to the point where it's almost maybe just gotten too big as an IP. Then it's to your point, kind of maybe scaling down, doing one, maybe two shows at a time, or maybe one show, one movie every couple of years.
Well, right now they're scaled down to no
Nothing.
shows.
Yeah.
So this is a good reset.
Yeah. So I do think it is broken, but not to the fault of the material that's being put out. I think maybe it's just more of a volume issue.
And I mean, we see this with, like, this is, any problem that we've talked about is not specific to Star Trek and is not because of Star Trek. It's either because we've talked about, and how you have mentioned today, like, I personally miss shows in general that are more episodic.
Yeah.
We've talked about it several times before. I feel like I can't start a new show
Unless you have time to fully commit to that entire...
Unless I have time to go to the beginning and catch all the way up, which is just too overwhelming sometimes, especially if there's 6 of those shows I need to catch up on. So, like, I miss when it was a little more episodic, and we see that in Star Trek and New Trek, and we see it in other shows. But just like you said, Star Trek is so big, and it's an old show. So there's also the growing pains of, you have people that have loved Star Trek since day one of Star Trek, and you have people that have loved Star Trek since today.
Yeah.
And there's no way to put those same people and their interests and the style of any type of show, Star Trek or not, that they like in the same category. So like you said, there's some Trek. The Trek is for everybody, but there's some Trek for these people, some Trek for these people. And if you like all of it, awesome. If you like none of it, okay. If you like some of it, great. Pick and choose. But because there are so many options, which is a good thing, but you're never going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
It's so big, and it's such an old show, and you see it in any long-running show. Star Trek, Doctor Who, any medical drama. Grey's Anatomy ran... Is it still on?
It's still on.
And people are like, oh, I hate the later seasons because they've been around since the beginning.
Yeah.
You see it with every show. Supernatural. Oh, I hated the later seasons because you've been around since the beginning. Also the later seasons, whatever. But like, as... if you have one of these huge, long-running shows, it is going to change. TV has to change with the times, and nobody likes change.
This is true.
It's inevitable.
Which is actually a good point.
Because if nothing ever changes in the show, people will complain that it's not changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you change something, people complain, oh, it needs to be like it was back in the day. Like, you are not going to make everyone happy.
Yeah. Like, nostalgia is a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like, it's a lot of people who get the most upset at New Trek were huge Next Generation fans, huge Voyager fans, huge TOS if you go back far enough. And yeah, they're wildly different shows, but television is now wildly different than it was in the 60s or the 80s or the other 80s.
You can't do a 25 episode season that's just carried
That was going to be
by-
one of my points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you carry that? Yeah, carry that topic.
Well, I mean, first of all, the problem, one of the biggest problems with Star Trek is that we no longer have 25 episodes a season. And then we've got 2 and 3 and 4 years in between seasons. It's like nobody freaking cares about it by the time the 2nd and 3rd season comes around.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that show is still playing?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. So
you're saying maybe Star Trek isn't broken? It's
the format. It's the
industry,
It's
maybe.
the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that I'm beside myself with people claiming that Star Trek has gotten too woke or too societally involved with what Star Trek has always been. That the original series, you've got stuff dealing with racism, like like hammered home racism, not like
it was not subtle.
Yeah,
guys.
it's not subtle. You got dealing with fascism, dealing with patriotism, dealing with all sorts of social issues. And that is what Star Trek is. It is dealing with the human condition in a way that's palatable and digestible because it's in the future. And it is a putting a microscope, putting a lens on the problems that we're facing now, setting it in the future. And it is provocative. It is thoughtful. It is supposed to be upsetting at times. It's supposed to make you question whether or not what you think is right. And if you're having problems with the current Star Trek, maybe there's a reason for it. So just saying, Star Trek has always been this. It's always pushed the social boundaries. It's always pushed these things. And just because you're not liking it because it's too woke or it's incorporating DEI, maybe revisit that.
Hell yeah!
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Another
like a good moment for that.
A super short point is also to remember there are people falling in love with new Trek the way you may have fallen in love with old Trek.
Which circles back to the nostalgia thing.
Yeah, because like it's hard to want some of the things in new Trek when you love the way they did this specific thing in old Trek and this style. But today's Trek is going to be somebody's
old Trek.
Yeah.
One day.
And hopefully
it will
because
be their
that
nostalgia.
It will keep running that this will be an old Trek.
Yeah, it will be old
Trek.
And then we'll have very old Trek.
Yeah.
And then it's, yes.
So
ancient Trek.
If I may,
Yes.
Christian, you have been quiet this entire time. What you got?
I've been collecting my thoughts.
Okay.
Disclaimer, because we got blasted in the comments for this on our Star Trek Discourse episode. You are the newest Star Trek fan.
See.
So your knowledge of Star Trek is not as seasoned as other people in this room. So you're going to be speaking from a for some reason, infant brain came to mind.
A smooth brain.
Baby brain.
Hold on. I can handle this. Christian, have you seen any Star Trek?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It's good.
All right, you're a Star Trek fan.
There you go.
That's all it takes.
Welcome, you're in.
So, okay, yeah. So my least experienced brain on Star Trek, from the points that everyone's made, I think I've collected enough data.
Nice.
Yes.
To conclude that, like, it may not have the MCU problem, it may have the Star Wars problem.
Which is?
Oh,
Stop it. Just stop.
No, that's
No. I mean, like, just stop. Like, we're like you just said before. Like, they're may bringing it back from 5 shows a year to like 1 or 2.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Do it every couple of other years.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like a show, or I guess it's just shows every couple of years to make it still brand new, but still old Trek. Take the time to make it the same, but different. Because with Star Wars, they were just putting things out. And people are like, every year. And
they
we're
were
like,
doing it on a schedule.
what is this? What?
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Who asked for this?
it's expanding it across the universe, and it almost turns into who asked for this.
Yeah.
And even though you're a fan, you're just like, I don't really care. But people have always been intrigued about what happens on the other side of the universe. And that could be within a 2 to 3 year span.
Mm-hmm.
If, got down to the writing, the production, everything else. So I think it's just like, just stop.
Okay.
Make it good instead of just putting it out.
Yeah.
Before we expand on this any further, I do think that's actually probably the wisest thing they can do. They're clearly at the point where they are deciding how they want to proceed.
Yeah,
they've got 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds to go.
Yeah.
It's in the can. Anson Mount is technically done.
Yeah, they've already filmed the next 2 seasons.
Yeah. And apparently, again, from what I've read, they've torn down all the sets.
Yeah.
So like
which insinuates they're probably not doing
the Kirk year 1.
Yeah.
Which had been heavily rumored. So it sounds like, and again, a bunch of the other shows have ended. Academy did not get renewed.
It's getting a second season. But
okay, that's right. But after the second season is done, it was already pre-approved for 2 seasons. So But they finished Lower Decks. They finished Prodigy. So aside from what has literally already been filmed, we're kind of in a holding pattern. And I think what Christian said is the wisest thing they can do. Instead of feeling like they need to hurry up and put out more Trek before we all forget what it is or something, nobody's
going to forget Star
I guess
Trek.
that's the fear.
Yeah,
It'll become irrelevant.
Yeah.
Is the fear.
Take a couple of years. You've got at least 2 TV years that you're still going to have Strange New Worlds coming out. So it's not like there's going to be nothing. And decide what you really want to do. And then actually have a plan. And if I was going to fix Trek, that would be the first step. I feel like we got to the point where, to go back to the MCU vibe, the production plan for Star Trek became, well, what about a show about this? Instead of like actually having a really great idea that they wanted to make into a show. It was, hey, we could do another Star Trek show. What would be a good Star Trek show? Like, there's a difference, you know? There's trying to find a good idea, and then there's having a good idea that you want to bring to life. And I feel like maybe the last few shows, like even Academy, which again, I did not hate, and I will stand on that. Even Academy was really just a continuation from where Discovery left off.
Yeah,
like it was the next logical step.
We'll drop you off in the 31st century.
Yeah.
And
like
see what happens. Yeah.
Which I actually would argue is part of its problem is I didn't like the end of Discovery after the time jump. I had no interest. I couldn't connect to it. It's at that point too far into the future. So anyway, but that's beside the point.
Oh, that's a good point.
So yeah, that would be the biggest thing is to actually have a plan. We keep coming back to this has been a theme for every time we've talked about fixing something. Is to actually have a freaking plan.
Quality.
Star Wars, the sequel series did not have a plan, and you could tell. They changed who wrote it, they changed who directed it, they changed what the themes were going to be every stinking movie. There was no through line, and that's why they felt disjointed and weird. Same thing with Star Wars Mandalorian. You could tell by the end they were just making it up as they went along. And then they got tired of doing that, so they made a movie. And then waited so long that we forgot the Mandalorian was a thing. So have a plan, make a plan. And if you don't have a plan, we'll wait.
We did actually talk about the Paramount Skydance merger in a previous episode back in August of last year. So Paramount merged with Skydance in an $8 billion merger. And we talked about this because Star Trek was a big talking point in their investor call when the deal was actually finalized. And their co-chairs of Paramount Pictures, Dana Goldberg and Josh Greenstein, I don't know, one of those. They were both quoted as saying Star Trek is a priority across the company. So this was less than a year ago at this point. 8-9 months ago?
Yeah.
Saying Star Trek is a priority. But since then, they've canceled all the shows. They've torn down the sets.
Maybe that's the priority.
Resetting it, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can agree that something is important and also simultaneously say you're not doing a very good job at it.
Yeah.
Like it can be both of those. Those are not mutually exclusive.
Make it the priority, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that means there's some hope.
Slow your
They're
roll,
taking it serious.
Figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
And come back out and let's see what you got.
Yeah.
People will always be there for new Trek.
This is true. Yeah. It also can't stay away too long though, or else I think people lose interest.
I think that there's a point at which yes, it loses relevance, and then if it's been long enough, it actually becomes something that people miss again.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You know, and I think that's what happened between Star Trek, the original series, and then Star Trek, The Next Generation.
That's a good point.
You know, now, yes, they had some movies in between that were good from the original series cast. But let's see, it stopped in 66?
Came out in 60. Thought it came out in 66.
So 66.
TOS?
Yeah, the original
Maybe it was
series.
64.
When did it end? It was 64 to 66?
Was it 64 to 67?
There's so many numbers happening right now.
It was approximately 20 years in between, is what I was.
Between TOS and TNG was a long time.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but more than a few of the first and the second season scripts of the original of Next Generation were unused or scripts from the original series or from Star Trek, the original series 2 or something like that. Star Trek 2, wherever they were going to call that. So I think there's a point at which you miss something that was significant
and special.
So it can become like there was a period which Star Trek was a joke.
Yeah.
You know, after the original series, it was, and then something made it important. Retroactively important.
TOS was 66 to 69.
Okay. Wow.
And the Next Generation was 87
to 93.
So almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years, yeah. Josh.
Yes.
How would you fix Star Trek?
I would keep its budget the same and demand twice as many episodes per season.
And less time in between seasons.
Well, but see, hold on though. That one direction solves almost every single problem. Okay? We're not spending any more money than we were before per season, so no one can complain about it. We have not increased the budget.
Okay.
Twice as many episodes gives you more time with the characters. However, it halves your budget. So you are now relying on the one thing that you can control without increasing the budget, better writing. And also, because you now no longer have as much money to throw around on special effects, your turnaround time for those episodes is dramatically shorter. You start reusing sets. You start reusing props that you already had. You rely less on CGI, which is the longest process in post-production. So seriously, I think that one direction could change the entire thing and give literally everyone what they want and fix almost every problem. I want twice as many episodes at least. And if you consider that the average new seasons are 8 to 10 episodes, really, I want like 2.5 times as many episodes. I want to get back to the 22s, 23, 24 episode seasons. Yeah. But I'm not giving you a penny more.
Okay.
Because those limitations are what made old Trek so good. And also, it's the year of our Lord 2026. Even if I say you can't have all the money in the world for special effects, it's still going to look great. All right? Even if you had to do it the way they did old Trek, but with modern tech, it would be incredible. Because they were relying on green screen and blue screen and then manual composition. I don't think they started using digital composition until about halfway through TNG. So, like, it could be done kind of the same way Indiana Jones is. Like the old ones. The old Indiana Jones movies.
First 3.
Yeah. What if you had to make a B movie with A tier heart, right? And that's what old Trek was. And so I do think that a lot of new Trek's problems are because it's become more mainstream and it's been given bigger budgets. And a lot of the way I felt watching a lot of the new Trek stuff is that it felt less like science fiction, more like science fantasy. And it was all about spectacle and flashiness. And that was never really what Trek was about. That was just the vehicle to get you there. And so I seriously think that could do it. I want 24 episode seasons, but I'm not giving you a penny more than I gave you for an 8 episode season. And I expect you to make it work. Because if you don't, you're fired.
Yeah, I agree with that fix. And to illustrate your point, Godzilla -1. You might be familiar with it at this point. It came out
Yes.
Good movie.
$10 million budget, which is a far cry from what most film budgets are, especially for something like a sci-fi monster movie.
Yeah.
$10 million budget. It went on to win Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards. You can do a lot with a little.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty good.
Real good.
Like,
good.
And
real good. But see, but that's the other thing.
Right.
And it was made by, and I mean, that one's kind of a special case. The director of that movie was the special effects supervisor, and that's actually what he was trained in, was special effects.
Sure.
So he knew what he could do with not much money, but also there was none of the we'll fix it in post mentality. He knew exactly what he needed to give that team in order for them to do exactly what the vision they had already laid out was.
So you mean
planning?
A tightened, centralized staff?
Yeah,
that's not spread across departments and
correct
bureaucratic nonsense.
And I would do it the same way Supernatural did it. where Supernatural did not farm out, at least old Supernatural. I don't know if they changed it towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did not farm out their special effects to special effects houses. They hired a small team of their own special effects people.
Yeah.
And Supernatural was the only show they worked on. So the vision was consistent, the output was consistent, and they got to the point where they were reusing things they'd used before. Not in a cheap way, but just in a, oh no, I need an asset of this. I have it. We did it before. That's something that cost them $0 to use.
And you know what? And Supernatural, since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Reused sets. They went to a lot of motel rooms in Supernatural because the theme of the movie was them cross-country traveling to fight monsters.
It's the same hotel room.
It's the same hotel. They changed the furniture, like the sheets and stuff. It's the same hotel room. But
they re-wallpaper it. Yeah.
It didn't matter. It looked different, so you were like, oh, they're in a different place. It's the same room.
And again, you don't have a budget, so you're focusing on writing. So what the room looks like is not what I'm paying attention to because I'm actually emotionally invested in what's happening.
Yeah.
You're not expecting it to be so high budget and so perfect that you're looking to find those tiny little details that you wouldn't otherwise notice.
Mm-hmm. And let's be real, for Star Trek, it's an age-old joke that it's like, ooh, epic space battle, yawn. Oh, courtroom case, glued to the TV. so like, the spectacle isn't even why people watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, that's something neat every once in a while, but like, even like the most epic battles in most of Trek history have been off screen.
Yeah.
You don't see it because they couldn't afford to do it.
Yeah.
You know, you would occasionally see the aftermath of battles because they had old ship models that they would tear up and set on fire and stuff. And so they would show up and fly amongst the wreckage and stuff like that. But like, you didn't see it. Like, but that didn't matter because that wasn't the point of it.
Yeah.
The point of it was the treaty fell apart, or the war has reignited, or crap, the Klingons are the bad guys again.
It's the morality and the emotion.
Yeah, like that's what was important. And so, yeah, like that's my actual super easy one-step fix. I want 3 times the episode.
Give 94 episodes per season.
Don't change the budget.
Yeah, don't change the budget. Well, I was thinking if they're doing 8 episode seasons, 24 is 3. So to split all the averages, I want 2.5 times as many episodes. You're keeping the same budget, and just make it work. Like I would even go beyond that and start getting into the department's head. Okay, I'm cutting the special effects budget in half. That half is going to the writing team. And if they're not an amazing writer, get them out of there. I don't care. Go find someone. Start scrolling the internet for Star Trek fanfic and read it. Is it good? Hire that guy. Get him in here. Like,
all right. I think that honestly is a pretty good solution.
Yeah.
Any counter arguments? Any counterpoints? Do we agree?
I have one more thing.
Okay.
And I'll try to keep it short. Stop being democratic about how you handle the seasons and the episodes. Once the episodes are written, once a plan is in place, once the seasons are laid out, ignore the BS you hear on Twitter from all the fans. Ignore the BS that you hear from everybody else that has a little 2-cent opinion about how it should be going. Because if you keep changing how Star Trek goes based on what the fans are saying,
you end up with the DCU.
You're gonna end up with crap. And the fans are important to keep things going, but trust in the process. The fans don't see; they don't know what's coming. The fans don't see what's already written and what the plan is. We don't always know what's best. Trust in your process, keep it going strong, and we'll trust you.
Except for me, I do know best. Do the thing.
Yeah. So
triple the episodes, same budget.
Yeah.
Come on, Will Wheaton.
Come on, Will Wheaton.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@EatSleepNerd. Leave a like in this video. Don't leave a dislike just because you disagree with something we said about Star Trek. Leave that in the comments down below. Let us know how you would fix Star Trek, or maybe if you disagree with us, if you don't think Star Trek is broken, let us know that in the comments as well. Please share us with your friends and family over on social media. That goes a long way into supporting this channel. And don't forget, we got that shop, shop.eatsleepnerd.com. We got a bunch of merch over there. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, sweatpants, all that fun stuff, all different colors, all different sizes. That helps support our channel, so please go support us over there. And Josh, you are the most animated one here tonight.
He doesn't look like a cartoon. I'm sorry.
3 things that Star Trek fans should be doing before they go watch their favorite Star Trek show.
Eat, sleep, nerd.
Take it easy, people.